Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be talking about my summer at the Big Data Summer Institute at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. The Big Data Summer Institute is under the umbrella of the Summer Institute in Biostatistics and Data Science, or SIBS for short, and it's sponsored jointly by the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute and the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. It's a 6 to 7 week summer training course on biostatistics and principles of data science. In addition to being available at University of Michigan, SIBS is also hosted at
Boston University, Columbia University, Florida Atlantic University, UC Irvine, University of Colorado Denver, University of Iowa, USC, University of Southern California, University of Texas Medical Branch, and Yale University.
So I applied as a freshman, and then I did the program in June 2022. So the structure of BDSI, and I think most of this program, it's about half lecture, where you're learning principles of data science, biostats, and some basic biology. And the second half of that will be research. So you're working with one of your mentors to do research, usually in a group project of about 4 people. So I have 3 other people working with me in my genomics project. All right, so as proof I did it, here's my testimony. During my time at BDSI, I researched the association between differentially methylated regions of the genome and genetic point mutations linked to disease with the genomics group. I found the research challenging, yet an extremely effective way to improve my skills in R and my knowledge of statistics and genomics. The lecture component of BDSI, which typically takes up about half of your workday, gave me the opportunity to learn both the basics of the statistical theory and the many unique research areas in biostatistics. I came in with a weaker background in stats, but was able to learn quickly from informative lectures, helpful research mentors, and wonderful peers. My time in BDSI was also very social. In our free time, the whole cohort would often get ice cream, go to the arcade, or swim in the Huron River. Bad chemicals, I don't know if I recommend that. But I made amazing friends and great memories and wouldn't have spent my summer any other way. Go blue and apply to the Big Data Summer Institute. So that's my testimonial from 2022. It's on their website if you want to check it out. So that's the gist of it. You're basically receiving half lecture in statistics and biostatistics, and the other half is research under a mentor. At the end of the 6 weeks, you present your research in a symposium where I think you have a 10 or 15-minute talk, and you also do a poster presentation. It's not super high pressure, but all the groups want to put up a good presentation, so you kind of crunch at the end. They also bring in a guest speaker who's really cool and just give some insight into the field. So as you saw in my application, I was in the genomics group, and my research project was looking at associations between differentially methylated regions, which are regions of the DNA where the methylation is different depending on ethnic group or ancestry, and kind of seeing if those methylation differences among different ethnic backgrounds relates to any traits, genetic associations with diseases. So we were combining 2 data sets between the GWAS, the Genome-Wide Association Study, which looks at which mutations in the DNA are related to diseases or specific traits, and studies looking at how DNA is methylated differently among different populations, i.e. Asian, African, and European ancestry. Sorry for all the jargon, but basically the reason the research was important is because most of our genetic illness studies, like looking for mutations related to diseases, focus only on Europeans. We were trying to see if methylation among different ethnic groups can relate to different diseases. If you guys want to see another video about that, let me know, but I think it's a little too technical for this. I came into the program as a EEB major, Ecology, Evolution, and Biodiversity, with a minor in computer science, I believe, or statistics. So my statistics background was a lot weaker than my biology background, and for most of the other people in the program, it was the reverse. So most people in the program had really strong statistics or data science or computer science backgrounds, and the biology side wasn't as important. In terms of majors, the program is pretty open to different perspectives. I would just advise in your application that you connect your major or your research background and interest to biostatistics, so the application reviewers can understand why you're applying to this program and how it would progress your career and your education and kind of help you sort out your interests for the future. And that advice for connecting your major or research background to biostatistics and why you want to enter the field is just overall advice I have for any applicants. I'm going to read you guys my application. I definitely wouldn't go off of it, and I don't know if my application was super strong, but I did get in as a freshman, which I think maybe indicates that I had a good application, a solid one. So here it is. I am applying to UM's Summer Institute in Biostatistics because of how much I've enjoyed my ongoing research with Professor Roberto Marquez in the Ecology and Evolutionary Department at the University of Michigan. This research, which I started in September, is focused on the genetic structure, gene flow, and the maintenance of distinct color morphs in the poison dart frog, Phyllobates terribilis. In this research, I used NGS, next generation sequencing, data of 31 specimens to approximately map the ancestral background of all the specimens. I utilized their genetic information as well as their location and phenotype to make approximations of the gene flow in the region. I utilized the UMich shell, bash, to submit loops of programs to the University of Michigan's Great Lakes Computing Cluster. Grammar error there. I used bioinformatics tools such as Trimmatic, BWA, SAM tools, and SAM tools. Another error. SIBS would allow me to focus all of my energy on learning about biostatistics for a significant time and help me decide what career path would best suit my working style. I also look forward to meeting other students and faculty passionate about biostatistics, as I feel like I haven't met many other students with similar interests at the school. My research with Professor Marquez has given me a great opportunity to immerse myself in bioinformatics and the research world as a whole. My research through the Undergraduate Research Opportunity Program, UROP, has been the highlight of my first year at university, and it makes me excited to delve deeper into academia. Before I started my research, I intended to study ecology and evolutionary biology only at the macro scale. I didn't have much of an interest in genetics. However, through my time researching population genetics and bioinformatics, I realized that bioinformatics is an amazing and informative addition to EEB rather than a separate field. I feel that my academic year's worth of research makes this summer the perfect time to further explore the different areas that constitute EEB and data science. Outside of my research, I've also read An Introduction to Population Genetics, Theory and Application by Ramses Nielsen and Montgomery Slatkin, which has enabled me to have a better understanding of quantitative biology research at the theoretical level. By the start of the program, I will also have completed introductory programming, giving me a working knowledge of C++ and Python alongside my current knowledge of Bash. My research interest falls under the umbrella of ecology and evolutionary biology. They include bioinformatics, biostatistics, pathology, ecology, paleontology, and evolutionary morphology. After my undergraduate degree, I plan to pursue a master's degree in bioinformatics and a PhD in the same field. Following my doctorate, I intend to work in a research position at an academic institution studying bioinformatics with a focus on EEB or genetic pathology. As an undergraduate student just entering the academic world, now is an exciting time to branch out the different fields of bioinformatics to determine what career path would best fit me. SIBS will give me an opportunity to learn more about the biomedical applications of data science and research, a field which I hope to move into as I continue my education and eventually my career. SIBS is the perfect program for me because learning how to apply big data to resolve health problems and disorders that affect millions is a major goal of mine. I don't know if they have this because of political things now, but they also had like a DEI essay, so I'll read that to you guys too. The ever-present challenge in bioinformatics for me is the severe underrepresentation of Latino men and women in science. I chose to go to the University of Michigan over the Florida public universities because of its excellent academic and research opportunities in EEB and data science. But in making that decision, I left behind the large Latino community in Florida and chose a predominantly white institution. Coming from Miami, being in a place as white as was a huge culture shock to me. Of my Latino friends here, I noticed that many have an interest in STEM majors, but chose not to study it because they think they're not smart enough for it. They may not see it this way, but I believe that this is due to the lack of Latino leaders in STEM fields. I can personally testify that having a Latino research mentor, Professor Marquez, has made me more confident in my ability to become a bioinformatician and have a successful career. I hope that by becoming a bioinformatician, I can inspire my peers of color to challenge, another POC abbreviation, to challenge themselves and study STEM majors, even if their future careers are currently white-dominated spaces. So within my application, I brought in my coursework, my relevant coursework, why I'm interested in biostatistics, my relevant research. I even brought in a book that I read outside of my research to kind of show that I'm interested in the field. And I think that shows a lot of passion for it. And then I kind of brought in the more personal side. So that's my application advice. Bring in your interest, bring in your background, and kind of project your future vision with the SIBS or the Big Data Summer Institute as like a central point. Like this is important to me. That's what the admission people want you to project. And they also want you to like have researched the program and be clear on it and know what you're getting yourself into. Looking into the program a lot and referencing that would be really helpful. I don't recommend ChatGPT, especially for like research programs, because the admission rate, I believe, is a lot higher than like a typical job or interview application. So it's worth really doing your own reading, your own writing, and building up a strong statement. This admission cycle would be for 2026, but the information I'm giving you is from the 2025 admission cycle, so I'm not sure if it's still the exact same, but here are the application requirements. So you guys saw my personal statement. You also have to attach a curriculum vitae/resume. I'd recommend a CV because it's more sciencey and researchy. I would Google it and like sort out the formatting if you're uncertain about that. And unofficial transcripts for undergraduate coursework, list of relevant coursework, and a reference. And then here they have who priority is given to. But again, like I wouldn't worry about that. Just shoot your shot, do your best with what you have, and present a good image of yourself. The program outside of learning was a lot of fun for me. It's probably my favorite summer, like within college. It was just really fun. You're basically working a 9 to 5 with a 2-hour lunch break, or an hour and a half lunch break. So you have coursework from like 9 to 12, lunch from like 1 to 2:30 or 1 to 2. I can't remember exactly. And then you're doing research from 2 to 5. So you have a lot of time after that. You have like 5 p.m. onwards. In Ann Arbor, they have the Ann Arbor Summer Festival, which takes place. It overlaps with the first few weeks of the BDSI. That is like a music festival and dancing, and there's food. It's really cool. Just to cover a bit more of my personal experience of the program, I came in not knowing a ton of statistics, and the lectures, they were helpful, but a lot of the stuff will just go over your head if you don't know it, and that's kind of okay. Like, they don't expect you to know all of the biostat stuff or all the statistical ideas. You just want to learn enough to where you can work functionally on your project. In my research project, like I felt like it was pretty well paced. Like everything was fair. We had one research mentor and then 2 kind of like assistant mentors, 2 grad students who helped us out, and it was really cool. My group, genomics, kind of split into 2 different groups. So one of them was more like cell, RNA, DNA expression, which is the other group. And I was in the GWAS/methylation group. Our project was mostly coded in R, which is interesting. Like it was basically data filtering. 2 people working on the GWAS part. Again, that's like the collection of all the mutations and DNA parts known to be linked to diseases or traits. And then also on our team was 2 other people who were working in Python to figure out how to filter down the methylation. So lots of pipelines and cloud computing, a lot of stuff where it's very like trial and error. Especially cloud computing can be very tough, very annoying, honestly. Like it's a lot of repetition. But overall, I think the project was cool. We ran a p-test. Here's what the poster looks like. Pause to read that. I can zoom in, I guess. It's pretty small. And we did a presentation that I thought turned out pretty well. We got compliments from the guest speaker on our poster, which I thought was really cool. A big part of it was the social for me. Like that is probably what made the summer so great. There are people from all over the world. Every year they bring in a few students from India, specifically, I think it's the Indian Statistical Institute. Super cool guys, insanely smart. We had a student from London as well, or not London, the UK. She was a good friend of mine. So you meet a lot of people from all over the world, people from all over the US. Most of the students were not from Michigan. I think there's probably like 5 of us from Michigan out of like 20, 25, 30 students. The vibe is definitely nerdy. And like, I'm not saying this as an insult, like I am a nerdy person, but yeah, it's more, it's data science, computer science, stats. So it's more, lots of like stats jokes. If you like that, then it's a good place to meet people, and like I had made really good friends. So I'm really happy with like the social aspect of the program. I think most weekends, like most of the 5 weekends, there's social events that they do, or they'll do lunches and group dinners. We had a dinner at like a very important professor's house. That was really cool. We went kayaking on the Huron River. That was really fun. Lots of lunches, and like they pay for the lunches and dinners if they do them. So it was just a really nicely planned and organized program. At the time I did it, the head of the program, department chair, was Bramar Mukherjee, and she actually moved to Yale, and they have the program at Yale now, and she was really cool. I think once a week for one day, instead of doing like strictly a lecture, they'll bring in a guest speaker for like an hour or 2, and they like do a presentation about their life, their story, their background, their research. And it was really cool. It's cool to see people's career paths and being exposed to like so many different people who all end up in biostatistics, which ultimately, although it sounds specialized, it's a very broad general field. There's a lot you can do under that umbrella, and there's a lot of connections you have with other departments. I actually made this video because there's an end of the year showcase. It's actually on my YouTube page, and that's actually why I'm making this video, is because someone emailed me asking about the Big Data Summer Institute. So shout out that person. Good luck. But it was a really fun program, really informative. Although I didn't end up going down the biostatistics route, at least right now, a lot of my friends that did the program did, or they ended up going more CS. But yeah, it's just great research program. In terms of logistics, you get a $2,000 stipend and up to $500 in travel reimbursement. You also get $200 to spend in the dining halls, and you also get free housing. You get to stay in one of the student dorms, and they're pretty nice. At least my year, I got a single. But I wish you luck. It looks like applications close, I don't know when, but around March, I would say. So I definitely try to submit it over February. And there's rolling admission. So the earlier you apply, the better. Thank you guys so much for watching, and good luck with your application season. Let me know if there's any other videos you guys want, any questions you have, or any way I can help. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.